What up, it's Warchief, and today you're probably wondering, like, what is Check the Mix Rack? Okay, Check the Mix Rack is a rack I made inside a Bitwig, but you could probably make it inside any DAW, and it is a rack or preset that I made for you to check your mix that actually helps you mix. Well, it helps me. I'm making this video because it helped me and maybe it helped you, but there's probably two reactions I'm going to get from this video. Wow, you're dumb, or thank you, that was cool, that will help. Well, those are the two reactions, or well, maybe three. Yeah, everybody knows that. But anyways, this has to do with the rack is mixing in mono and also mixing from certain frequencies within, like, off of cell phones and regular, like, Bluetooth speakers. Because I can tell my mixes, well, my music sounds like when I play them on other systems like a cell phone or a Bluetooth speaker, and it always sounds weird and muddy, and I try my best to get it, but recently I was messing around and I was like, why don't I just mix within the frequency range of cell phones and Bluetooth speakers while it's in mono, and maybe I'll get something. So I was just trying this out. So this was like me just trying something. And it worked. And some of my songs I've been working on sound like 10 times better, and I'm so surprised. It is ridiculous. But anyways, let's get right into it. I'm going to show you how to make this, and it's really easy. 2 plugins. And yeah, you can make it probably in any DAW. Let's go. Let's go check the mix. Okay, I got like 3 demo songs to show you what I'm talking about here. So right here it is. Here's Check the Mix. It is a EQ, and the tool, it's pretty much turns everything into mono. So the width right now is at 0. So my song, The Forest, is in mono right now when it's activated. So it's activated, and you can tell there's no low end and not very high end. The frequency range from like cell phones and Bluetooth speakers, I looked it up. It's 300 to 3.40 kilohertz. You're like, well, that's probably going to sound like turds. It does sound like turds, but it sounds badass after you turn this plug-in, this rack off, and it just makes everything glued and set real good. It's so weird, but it's so cool. And it taught me a couple of things, like weird technique, like not techniques, just it helped my ears out just a little bit, but it made a big difference in my mixes. So let's go. First track right here is The Forest. I'm going to demo this. I'm going to turn it off. You hear that big brrr. So let's turn this on. You probably won't hear that at all. No, you only hear the higher frequency range, the shh, like the splash. Psh, that's all you hear on that. But let's go to the drop. That's boring stuff. So this is the drop. It's really melodic sounding and like trappy dubstep. But listen to this. Listen. So when I made this song in 2018, I should have, if I would have had this back then, I probably would have boosted my mids for my sub a little so you could hear them. With this off, you can hear them really well, but you have to have you just have to have good speakers to hear the sub. And with this rack on, you can't really hear the sub, but you can hear a little tiny bit of the mid-range, I guess 808 frequency. I should have boosted that up so you could hear that more on like cell phones and Bluetooth speakers, stuff like that. But I want to go to the next track. I don't think I'm going to do all these tracks. I'll probably just do one of mine and probably a Joyride track. So the Joyride track, it really opened my eyes. I'm like, oh my gosh, his sub is so good. Because listen to the sub in this track right here. You hear all that mid-range, that brrr, like he got the mid-range of his sub to get into this range. So when you play it without this Check the Mix rack, it sounds so good. Listen to this. In the beginning, you can tell he used a lot of the mid-range of the sub. So like this part right here. You hear that brr, brr. Well, if I was making that song, you probably wouldn't be able to hear it because I feel like I mix my frequencies for my sub way too low, and then I try to bring them up and I don't get them as, I guess, high. And this actually helps my ears get them to a level where I can mix them into my sub, and it actually is like molding this song. But it sounds great. The rest of this year, I did not do that for the songs that I'm going to put out for the rest of the year, so my mixes probably won't sound that great till 2021. This trick is amazing. I don't know if it's trick. It's probably people already know about this. This is probably something it's already been around for like years. But anyways, it sounds so good. And then I'll turn it off and you'll hear that burn burn. If you mix in this with this rack on, it just makes everything sound good. I don't know why. I know the mono thing, you need to mix in mono and stuff. I don't know. I don't really mix in mono that much, but I have been recently trying to because I'm getting tired of these crappy mixes that I'm making, and I just want to work on my mixing and mastering. Mostly mixing, because mastering is just a limiter and you boost it up till it distorts. Well, that's what I do. So the next song is pretty cool too. It's called Hefe from Boombox Cartel. So the beginning right here, let's listen to it without the rack. Not that part, this part right here, where it goes, it has this crazy sub drop. You hear all that mid-range, but if you're just listening to the song, you think it's like this super crazy heavy bass drop, and it is, but it has this top layer on top of the sub, because a sub is just a sine wave, and it's cut off at like 80 hertz probably, and it just has all this low end. But if you just listen to the mid-range of the sub parts, you can get an idea of how they're mixing their sub with their, I guess, their effects or their mid-range, and they do it so wild, like not wild, it just sounds wild together, and they're so good at doing that. Like, that sounds so, but it's all within that mid-range because that sub is pretty much just a sine wave. And then let's go to the drop. You hear the brr, brr. It just sets so good in the mix where you can barely hear it with this rack turned on. When you turn this rack off, it's so intense. Listen. And to tell the difference, you probably should be wearing headphones or monitors. I usually mix on my headphones because my room is not treated and it doesn't sound good with my monitors playing. But anyways, yes, this is Check the Mix rack that I made, and hopefully you make it and you try it out and you give me feedback. Does this help? Is it helping you? Warning though, after I mixed this, I did have to go back to my subs and some of my highs, like my hi-hats and my squeakier sounds, and I had to turn them down a little because they were a little too high in the mix. So it's all about listening and certain elements. Hopefully this improves your music. This has improved my music, and it's just awesome. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment down below, tell me what you think, and subscribe. And yeah, I will catch you guys later. Been working on a lot of music for next year. I have all my tracks done for this year and the art and the sample packs. So this year is done for me. There will be songs every month, except for December, taking a break in December. And then next year we will be putting out more high quality music because I'm going to really work on my mixing. But yeah, catch you guys later. Peace. Because the frequency